The conjugation of regular verbs in the present tense. As you already know, verbs are divided into two sections: irregular verbs and regular verbs. Irregular verbs are going to be those that do not follow a pattern when conjugated. So let me give you an example. I think, I thought. There's really no pattern for that conjugation. While regular verbs do follow a pattern. So for example, I walk, I walked. We know that all regular verbs, if you put an ed ending, it's going to turn them into the past tense. That's true for all regular verbs. We have already worked with a couple of irregular verbs in Spanish. We have worked with ser, estar, and tener. And we know that we have these three verbs and that we have to change them to match the person doing the action. So for example, if I want to say I am at school, I have to say yo estoy en la escuela. So I take estar and change it into estoy. If I want to say I am a cat, I take ser and I change it into yo soy un gato. And if I want to say that you are 17 years old, I take tener and I say tú tienes 17 años. Well, now we are going to start working with regular verbs. In order to conjugate regular verbs, you have to follow three very easy steps. Step number 1. Make sure that you're using the infinitive form of the verb. This is the non-manipulated infinitive form of the verb. Now, if you can't remember what an infinitive is, let me help you out real quick. We say that a verb is in the infinitive form whenever it's in its original form. So for example, if I say walks, I am already conjugating the verb to reflect that either he or she is walking. The original form of walks would be to walk. That is actually the infinitive of the verb in English. Well, in Spanish, the infinitive or original form of a verb will always have the ending AR, ER, or IR. So for example, amar, comer, and vivir. To love, to eat, to live. They're all infinitives. Okay, let's go back to our conjugation. So we said that our step number 1 is to make sure that we're using the infinitive form. Step number 2 will be to erase the infinitive part of the verb. So that AR, ER, or IR is going to be eliminated from the verb. And step number 3, you add a new ending based on the person who's doing the action. I know this sounds very confusing, so let me just give you an example. It'll be easier to understand it this way. Let's take the verb to talk, hablar. Step number 1, erase the ending. What I have left is my root, is my base. I'm going to use that. And I have my different personal pronouns. These are the people who are going to be doing that action. So, if I want to say that it's me, the person who's talking, I'm going to add an O. Yo hablo. If I want to say that you are the one talking, I'm going to say tú hablas. If I want to say that he or she talks, I'm going to say él or ella habla. If I want to say that we talk, I'm going to add an amos and it will become nosotros hablamos. And finally, for they or you all, ustedes or ellos, it's going to be hablan. I am adding an an. Well, this is only for verbs that end in AR. Let's try an ER one. Comer, to eat. First step, we erase the ending. We have our base. We have our different pronouns and we have our endings. O for yo como, I eat. Tú comes, yes, you eat. Él o ella come, he or she eats. Nosotros comemos, so we add hemos, and that's we eat. And we have ustedes, ellos comen. You all or they eat. Finally, we have the IR, vivir, to live. We erase the ending. We have our base. We have our pronouns. If I want to say that I live in Canyon City. Yo vivo, you add an O. You live, tú vives. He or she lives, vive. Nosotros vivimos. And ustedes or ellos viven. I know this is a little confusing, so let's try to put this into action and practice a little bit. I'm going to give you a series of verbs. I'll tell you a person that you need to conjugate it for, the person doing the action, and then we'll check our work. So here we go. Cantar, to sing, conjugated for you. So I want to say I sing. Yo canto. Leer, which is to read. Let's conjugate it for nosotros. Nosotros leemos. Don't let the double E confuse you. You eliminate the ending and put your new ending, and it doesn't matter if the double E happens. You keep going. Escribir, which is to write. Ella. Ella escribe. Let's try one more. Amar, which is to love. Ustedes, you all. Ustedes aman. Good. Estudiar, to study. Ellos, they, estudian. Sacar, remember sacar can mean to take something out, like to take the trash out, but also can mean to earn, like to earn grades, to get good grades. Let's conjugate it for he. Él saca. Asistir, to assist, as in like you assist to Kenyon City High School. Let's conjugate it for Carlos y Luis. Carlos y Luis asisten. Now, if you had a little bit of a hard time with this one, try to always convert your subject into a pronoun. So Carlos and Luis is they, which is ellos. Now, just to sum up what we just did right now, this is a chart that shows you all of the conjugations. If you see, all of the conjugations for yo are always going to end in o. Always for yo. Do is always going to have that s at the end, and it's going to match the ending of the infinitive. So if the infinitive is an AR, it's going to have an AS. If it's an ER, it's going to be an ES, and if it's an IR, it's going to be an IS. He or she is going to be either A or E. We, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. However, it is also going to match the ending of the infinitive. Finally, you all or they are going to be an AN or an EN. Now look at ER and IR. They're basically the same thing. They're basically exactly the same thing. The only change you're going to see is in nosotros. Nosotros is going to match the E for the E and the I for the I. So in something like comer that ends in a ER, it's going to be comemos. And something like vivir is going to be vivimos. Well, hopefully this will help you with your conjugation. If you have any questions, you can always come and see me and talk to me. If not, we'll be practicing it through the rest of the semester, and I wish you good luck. Thank you.